And we're live one more time.
Live!
All right.
Live one more time from the social distancing network of the world. Hopefully we'll be out of the social distancing bubble here pretty soon. We'll be back in the same room.
Yes.
Coming to you live from a different room, so that way, we can do more stupid things.
Exactly.
However, for right now, we're still like this, so we're back. We're here again, and we're going to talk about today. We have a very important thing we want to talk about. The movie Warrior!
Exactly. That's a very important topic.
The movie Warrior! Right, so it's kind of an important talk, but... we like to we're doing guy movies. We're doing our segment, so we're doing guy movies. So we have to talk about the movie Warrior, okay? Because if you're any type of fight fan, or you like guy movies or fight type movies or anything like that, this is a pretty decent movie as far as MMA is concerned. If you're an MMA fan,
yeah. Well, not just that.
What would you say?
I feel like this movie is like MMA's answer to Rocky, except. It deals with two brothers.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah. So, most of your fight movies, they're either about, they're about boxers or, obviously we've had the ones about karate guys. And, it's all kinds of stuff. But, with MMA being so, it's still a young sport, man. I remember the first time I ever watched it. I remember the very first UFC. I mean, that's how young MMA is. So, to see them finally, make a movie about, fighters that are not, your typical boxers or, your karate guys or, whatever it may be, but, mixed martial artists, I thought was kind of cool.
No, it was a great movie, and it was well written, and had a really strong story about this family that had lots of fractures in it. They weren't really a family anymore. They didn't contact each other. It dealt with two brothers that hadn't seen each other in forever.
Yep.
They dealt with a father that was, estranged from both of them as well. They really weren't in that tight niche with their father anymore. Their mother had passed away. So they had a lot of things going on. And one of the brothers is a teacher at a school. And... he loses his job because he's out fighting, doing MMA to make extra money for his family.
Well, I think he was doing it on the weekends anyway, wasn't it? Before he lost his job, he was picking up a fight like once a month, right? And he was a retired fighter. He was lying to his wife and saying he was a bouncer.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
But he would come home with all this cash because he was he was a pretty trained professional. So he's basically, beating up on guys in a ring in bars and making money off of it.
Exactly. And and that's kind of where things start from. He realized and then his brother Tommy is he kind of he went AWOL for the Army.
He was a Marine.
Yeah, and he just disappeared.
Yeah.
And we all know how people feel about when people go AWOL. That's kind of one of those things that most people don't. And he lost some guys, and even though he'd done a few heroic things, he still felt like he lost a buddy of his that was so close to him that he just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah. Definitely, and it's like on his way out, somebody took a video of him saving his life, because Tom Hardy, being the awesome actor that he is, right, portrayed this broken guy who could fight, and it looks like both brothers had a fighting background growing up, boxing, whatever it was. They had it, right? It looks like they did it, they both did it at one point, both competed.
His brother was a wrestler.
Tommy joined
He was a wrestler. His dad was coaching him and stuff, so.
Tommy joined the military, and because he wanted to get away, and, he looked at that as his new family, because his family at home was so broken, that was his new family. But then when he lost his friend, he went AWOL, and he came back. And finally, the story gets around, and somebody recognizes him because of what he did in the gym.
What he did in the gym.
Remember?
Where he beat one of the number one contenders for... They were doing a middleweight tournament for like... I think it was like $1 million or $10 million. And he got a chance to be a part. This guy, he said, I'll just go and spar with them. He said, pay me some money. I'll spar with him. I'll keep him warmed up.
This guy kept this. Yeah, he goes. This guy was like knocking out. He was knocking people out. This was like the number one middleweight in the world. And he says, and he was, he said something. He goes, I'll do it. He goes, I'll do it. And they're like, yeah, hit the road, whatever, old man. Hit the road, right? They're all talking a bunch of smack to him. And he comes over and he whispers to the guy. He goes, hey, man. He goes, all I'm saying is, if you just need somebody to keep your guy warm for a couple of minutes, I'm your guy, whatever. I'll do it, right? The way he said it. And he goes, all right. And what he paid him, like, what it was like $200 or something to do it. It was like some little bit of money. And he got in there and he totally he knocked the guy out. He just cleaned his clock, right? And it was on video. And that's when the Marine that he had saved while on his way out going AWOL, he saved a guy from drowning.
Yeah.
Noticed the video and goes, man, I'd never forget that guy's face because he saved my life. So the story had a twist to it.
Yeah, and so his brother was an old, tired fighter. He's trying to get himself back into the fights. The last time the guy who trained him said, he didn't want to see him get hurt like the last time he was hurt. But he got trained, and he was training with the guys who were getting ready for this tournament.
His wife made him quit too. Remember?
Yeah.
His wife wouldn't let him quit, but it was funny because he would go to class to teach when he still had his teaching job. Remember, he'd go to class to teach, and the kids would walk and go, "Is that you, Mr. So and So? Is that you?" And he'd be like, "Go sit down, go sit down," or whatever. Remember?
And then the principal also, when he came in to fire him, he said, "You used to fight?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "UFC?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "That's cool." He said, "Do I get to keep my job?" No.
No. Yeah. So it was pretty good, and then it all leads up. They both join this tournament, because it was like a $5 million prize or whatever it is. The guy loses his job. Right, he's picking up like he's one fight a week at like local bars and stuff like that, just so he can make ends meet.
So what happens is the fighters that he's training with, one of them is supposed to be in this tournament, and he gets hurt, and he's like, "Let me have his spot." He's like, "My family needs this money. I'm going to lose my house. Let me have this spot."
Yeah,
and that's where the whole thing with him and Tommy, and it comes down to the two brothers at the very end of all of this, and not just that. If you haven't seen this, the fight scenes are amazing and done well. Would you say?
They are pretty. They are done well. Yeah, they're not outlandish. Like nobody's doing anything like off the wall.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's just like a real fight.
There's nobody doing backflips. They really tried to choreograph and simulate kind of like what a real MMA fight would be. There'd be punching, kicking. There's a takedown. There's all kinds of stuff. So I thought that was really cool. They didn't try to overdo it.
No.
When it came to the fight scenes, they really tried to put it together like some other boxing, pretty decent boxing movies.
But it was a great story, and it was two brothers that were fighting. Finally, at the end, in the championships, they had to battle. And it came down to older brother versus little brother.
Did they fight each other in the finals?
Yeah.
I thought he fought. Kurt Angle was in that movie, wasn't he?
Kurt Angle played the Russian, and this is
didn't he fight Kurt Angle in the finals?
No, he beat Kurt Angle, so Kurt was out.
Okay.
But this is the funny story. So Kurt Angle tells this story of when he's getting ready for this, and they have been working on him doing a Russian accent. So he'd been going to acting classes. He'd been working, and then they cut it all out. Every scene he spoke, they cut them all out. They just kept the ones where he was quiet and didn't say anything.
Right. I think I think they try to put give him a mystique. Give him that Fedor appeal, almost, right? Because Fedor is a very soft-spoken guy, but the guy could fight, right? So it's just very, very soft-spoken, stoic approach. I guess you could say, we all know Kurt Angle does, do some martial arts training in his real life. So, and he's a former amateur wrestler, so it probably doesn't, it's not hard for him to pick things up. And as well as being a pro wrestler, the choreography probably comes easy to him.
Yeah, that as well. But this whole movie deals with just a family with a lot of problems. These two guys just trying to better their lives. Yep. And then it just comes down to a boiling point and a lot going on. If you've never seen the movie, it's an amazing story. Whoever decided to write this did an amazing job. When I remember seeing it in the movie theaters when it first came out, and I was completely blown away. I think I probably saw it 4 or 5 times after that. I took other people. I thought it was kind
of, for what it is. I mean, it's a good movie, man. Like they put a story behind it. Almost like you were saying, Rocky, or like Rocky or Southpaw or something like that. They didn't just saturate it up and make it just your everyday story, right? You know what I mean? If two guys that go to a tournament and they just end up fighting each other at the end, right? That could have been so easy, but they didn't do it that way. They put a real story with a real background, a real foundation behind it, and I think and gave everybody a story, and I think they did. A great job with that.
Yes. So another one of our picks for a guy movie is, if you haven't checked out our Diggstown video. Check out our Diggstown video. We also have John Wick we talked about. And now we have Warrior, which is another guy's movie. If there's any movies that you like or you think is a guy movie or would fit in one of these categories, leave a comment down below. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, on our Instagram. Just say something. Leave a comment. Let us know what you would like us to talk about, or if there's a movie that we haven't talked about that you may know, or something we may have never seen that we may watch and review just for you.
That's true. It could be an old movie that we just haven't ever watched, but has the same type of story. It's really good.
So we are the Trauma Guys. I'm Lee.
I'm Fayaz.
And we're out of here.